everyone. Sheila Butler with Successful Women Talk. Want to say thank you so much for joining me today. And today on the show, I have special guest Katya Barry. She's an international business and expat coach, also known as a global attitude architect. So we are most excited to have you on the show. So welcome, Katya.
Hi, Sheila. Thanks very much for talking to me today.
Thank you. Hey, listen, guys, bear with us. We are on Skype having a little bit of trouble, but we are going to try and get this interview to you because I think you're going to love her story, what she's doing. So let's learn a little bit more about Katya.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So listen, if tell us a little bit about your background, how you got started, and how it got you to where you are today.
All right. So let me start from right way back. So I originally come from Moscow in Russia. And at the age of 15, my mom and dad shipped me to the UK. And I say they shipped me. Of course, they didn't get rid of me or anything like that. But it was early 90s, and the Soviet wall came down, and my dad saw an opportunity. Well, both my parents saw an opportunity for me to go and see the world. And obviously at that time, nobody knew whether, the wall was going to stay down or what's going to happen. So they thought that, well, let her go for a year and then we'll see what's going to happen. And that year turned into 2 years living and studying in the UK. I finished school. I went to university. I started my first job. I found my future husband there, and then we got married, and then we moved to Germany, and this is where I live now. And we've been here for almost 9 years now. Again, that wasn't planned. We originally came here for 2 years, and now it's been almost 9. So there you go figure. and basically what happened, I have 2 small kids aged 4 and 5, and they were born 18 months apart. So I was on an extended maternity leave. And at some point, I think when my youngest was about 1.5, I realized that being a staying-at-home mom is not something for me. And I've decided for myself that I need to go back to the corporate world because that's where I came from. I used to work at various companies before. And, I need to be around people. I'm fed up of being at home. The usual mom thing. I'm fed up of, wiping bums and changing nappies and cooking and cleaning. And I deserve so much more. And why that nice Oxford degree and all of that. So I spent about 9 or 10 months looking for a job. And I have to say that because we're based in Germany, I limited myself to English-speaking jobs because I felt that my German is not good enough to be able to work, in German language all the time, which was okay because Munich is an international city and it offers fantastic opportunities within multinational companies. However, what I didn't realize is that over here, moms or young moms particularly are not really that supported or welcomed in the companies because the competition is so high and because of the recent economical situation around the world. Seriously, in Germany, everybody's so well educated and speaks so many languages, and almost every second person has a PhD. You're like, well, how am I supposed to compete? So the feedback that I got was, we love you, we love your background, your professional background, your personal background fits in so nicely within our international community. But the person who we decided to hire had recently been working. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? So, and I have to say that the very last interview that I had with a large international insurance company really made me understand that, hey, you know what? I actually don't want any of it because now that I'm a mom, I'm a bit older, I have other values and priorities in life. And what you guys have got to offer me, I don't think I want this. I don't think I want the 9 till 5. And in real life, it'll be longer than that. It's not going to be 9 till 5.
Sure.
We're earning, a salary and then spending most of it on extra childcare. So what am I going to be bringing home? A couple of $100, plus in Germany, tax is really, really high. So you're pretty much left with nothing to start. So that was my trigger. That was more, I was like, well, actually, I don't want any of this. But what can I do? What can I do to fulfill the criteria that, that I want in life? And that's how I decided that, okay, well, I'm going to do something for myself. And at that point, I obviously didn't know what I'm going to do something for myself, but that was the beginning of where I am today.
I love that. We have the same issues here in the United States, as you probably know. And what I'm finding is more and more women. I love that you were honest enough to say that being a stay-at-home mom wasn't for you. And I have to say it's a tough gig. And I love my kids wholeheartedly, but I struggle with the same thing. I want to be a good mom, but I also want to have my own thing. And I used to run a multi-million-dollar business, and it was much easier to run than being a stay-at-home mom. Much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I love that you were willing to say that. And it is true. Going out there and most of that income that you were going to make was going to either go to taxes or to childcare. But you were faced with that thing of, oh gosh, then what do I do? So how did you get to that next point?
Well, it took a lot of brainstorming, and I think I realized that I want to go solo, like I call it, around about July time, and until about the end of September, good 3 months. As it so happened, it was summer holidays, so I was holidaying with my kids and all. I really took time to sit down, and I bought some books and I read a bunch of books. I really started doing research on the internet, and I got a bunch of ideas, thinking I could do this or I could do that. But again, because we are an expat family, we and my husband works for a large German automotive company. We could be moved, or we could get an opportunity to relocate somewhere else at any time. In fact, we are thinking about, going somewhere in foreseeable future. So that was the second step of my realization, that I need a job that I could pack up with me and go, right? What is this job? What type of job could it be? Okay, I can't sell anything. I can't open a restaurant or a bar or something, because again, I can't take that with me. So what can I do? And of course, for me, it was also important that it wasn't just a job. It wasn't just any type of a business, but it was something where I would grow personally and professionally, where, I would continue to grow and I could invest in myself. Because that was one of the reasons why I like the corporate background, is because they give you an opportunity, to develop, to grow. So I suppose that's how I leaned towards coaching. I've actually only discovered coaching then. I was like, wow, that sounds so cool. I had no idea. I was like, what am I going to do with this? But right then, it didn't really matter what I was going to do with it. I knew that this was going to be a step to that door that I'll open, and I'll just find a whole bunch of other doors. And I just knew that this is the way out. And this is exactly what happened. I did my coaching course. I got a certification as a professional coach. And now I'm doing a whole bunch of other things. And the coaching is just my, I would say, foundation that, I suppose it also helped me to develop myself, to realize lots of things within myself as well.
I love that. Well, let me ask you this. So you did go back and get your coaching certification, but some people, they struggle with that. Do I need to? Do I not? Was it pivotal for you? Like, I have an MBA, but I don't think I have to have an MBA to run a small business. Do you think you have to have a certification to be a good coach? It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is, because what is a good coach? And coaching profession is a very confusing one. The whole word itself, seriously, they should have picked another word for it. They should have picked a different name for it, because it's confusing for native English speakers, right? But for foreigners, it could mean absolutely anything else. Do you know, for example, that in Germany they refer a coach? They think of it. You get on the bus, and the bus takes you somewhere. Therefore, you arrive from point A to point B. I never thought about this, but it makes sense, Whereas, for example, for native English speakers, a coach is a profession that goes back to the athletes and sports industry, right? That's what you think. And originally, coach is somebody who would, coach you, but also train you and also mentor you and consult you and with you. And this is not what coaches do at all. So I think for me, it was important to I wanted to understand what the profession is, and I wanted to understand, what are the skills required, what can I do with it. And so for me, it was important that I did a course and that I lived through, a few months of learning, because it really made so many changes in me. But I have met, going back to your original question, I have met coaches who have not done any professional qualification, but they do the job brilliantly. So I don't know.
I guess it depends upon the person.
That's it. And it also it depends, on the other side, on the client, on the person who wants to work with the coach. If they're happy with the services that person provides, let it be. I mean, the word itself, I hate being called the coach, because people don't understand it or they expect certain things. So.
Well, let me ask you this. So you are a busy mom owning a business. You have two young children. How do you, I know some people don't like the term work-life balance. Some call it work-life rhythm. How do you handle that, and how do you operate your business around your kids and your family?
First of all, I do love the term work-life balance. I've heard many people say that it does not exist. Forget about it. I think it does. I think it's what you want it to be. It's what you create for yourself. For me, it works. I've achieved exactly what I wanted to achieve. My kids are at kindergarten until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then they come home. Then we have playtime. Then they go to bed. And I do exactly what I want to do. I'm with them. I take them to parks. And what I want to do is that I'm very strict with my timing. So, for example, until 9 o'clock in the morning, it's all about family and kids. So it's breakfast time, it's brush your teeth time, it's I'll take you to kindergarten time. And then I come home and then, I have my cup of tea or my breakfast and start doing my stuff, start doing my routine. And I make sure that I stick to it, And then 3 o'clock, I go and pick them up. And from 3 till 8, it's completely them time. So we go and do kiddie stuff, mommy and kiddie stuff, play groups, playgrounds, arts and crafts, you name it. And then 8 o'clock, again, well, in between times, my husband comes in, so we have dinner. So it's pretty much, my routine is there. And what I find is that, and this is actually something interesting because this is something that I learned from my children, from when I became a mom, is that they need a routine, as you would know. Kids need a routine. It doesn't matter how, strict or how varied or kids need structure because it's easier for them. It's easier for them to go to bed. It's easier for them to wake up. And I learned it. I understood that my life is actually so much easier if I eat at the same time, if I dress at the same time, if I check my emails at the same time, if I have to Skype my mom once a day, it's at the same time of day. It somehow everything just seems to fall into places and it works. I don't have any magical tricks. I don't have any like time schedule, like fancy time management thing. I just do stuff when I know that it works for me, basically.
I think that's a great point. And I think so many people are afraid to say, I don't want to systemize myself or my business because I'm going to be too confined. But I have found that it really frees you up. If you put it down, you put it on a schedule, and you keep some routines, it really frees you up. And you're able to, it's almost like right before you go on vacation, you're very, very productive at work. You can get so many things done in those last few hours. And if you work like that all the time and kind of think that way and just keep yourself scheduled and on task and do only the things that are important, you have so much more free time in your business. But I guess if people haven't experienced it, it's a tough sell at first, right?
Well, absolutely. And I think it's important to try different things out and see what works for you. I mean, some people are naturally especially people who come from some sort of managerial or project management background, they will have a structure, lined up in front of them straight away. But if you are, like me, not like them, then I suppose try a few things out and see what works out for you. And, and this is the brilliance about running your own business, is that you can work whatever you want. Who says that you have to start your working day at 9 o'clock? Who says? If you start working, if you like getting up at 5 in the morning and start working at 6 in the morning, do it. If you like working in the evening and it suits perhaps maybe even your business because maybe you're working with different time zones, do it. Who cares? As long as it works for you, just go with it and make it work for you, and people around you.
I totally agree. Let me ask you this. With most of the clients that you work with, are they people that are starting their own businesses in other countries? Is that your focus, or where's your target? And what is the first step that you give someone if they think they have an idea, like you had an idea? How do you help them get to that next step?
I work with two types of people. First of all, my first line of people are expats, so people who have gone to live abroad, whether for a fixed period of time or for an extended period of time. And I mostly work with what we call trailing spouses. So it's an accompanying. So one spouse will get a job to go on an assignment, and the accompanying spouse. In most cases, those are obviously women, trailing wives, we call them. And I am one. Essentially, I am one. That's the focus. It truly is based on my personal experiences, and I promote entrepreneurship for those women because, expat lifestyle often is sort of seen by outsiders as very glamorous and very relaxing, and you get to live in these nice houses, and depending on the country, like having maids, and everything is paid for you, and your kids go to international schools. Well, rubbish. It's not like that. I mean, it is like that. For some people, it is like that. But in real life, it's tough. It could all be sometimes, often be isolating, especially for women, especially for moms, because, her husband is at work, kids are at school. And what does she do? She can't sometimes get a job because of the lack of the language, or if they're only there for 2 years, then what's the point, So I really encourage the entrepreneurship bit for them. So again, they can pack it up and take it with them onto their next assignment, or take it, relocate it back with them. And the second group of people that I work with are already established entrepreneurs. Most of them are online entrepreneurs who want to expand their businesses abroad. So they're looking for ways to find clients, foreign clients, for ways to, how they can expand their businesses, which country or culture or background they should target if they don't already know. So how I help them with their first steps, I take it very personally. I try to really sit down, either like have a personal Skype conversation, or have a really deep email conversation to try to understand what it is that they're after. Right. And for me as a coach that I don't like to call myself, the most important thing to understand is do they really want it? I understand that sometimes people, they know that they want something. They really know that they want to do something, but they just don't know what. And this is where I came from, and that's probably where you came from as well. And this is so typical for entrepreneurs to desperately want something, but not knowing what it is, or where to start. And if I see this spark, if I see this, I am gonna bash my head against the wall, but I'm gonna get through it, I just don't know which wall to bash.
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay, great, let's work. Let's try to work out what it is that you need,
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, you know what helps in the same way we're doing this right now is technology has made such a big difference in our lives. I mean, what we do today, we couldn't even do 5 years ago. So it's quite amazing.
Absolutely.
So, what technology do you use in your business? Because I'm guessing at any point you could pick up, like you said, and move somewhere else, follow your husband wherever he needs to go for his business. So, what type of technologies are you using?
Just like what everybody else uses. I use Skype, and I also like G+ Hangout. I think that's a fantastic platform for, depending on the situation. And I travel quite a lot, actually, because my parents, they live in Russia, and my husband's parents live in Ireland, and some of them live in the UK. We have family in France, so we do travel. So it's fantastic. I pick up my laptop, I take it to Moscow, or I take it to the west coast of Ireland. I'm plugged in, and off I go. It's just brilliant. Really,
I agree. And I think what some people think is, oh gosh, I can get online and I have all this technology. I can do anything I want, and it's easy, and I'm just going to make all the money in the world. And there are some tough things to being online as well, right? So what do you find your toughest thing about working alone, being a solo entrepreneur, and just doing everything online?
It's basic. It's easy. It's lack of real human communication. I think there is no any other answer. This is the main one, because like I told you at the beginning, the reason why I wanted to go back to the corporate world is to be surrounded by people.
I agree.
And this is what I'm missing. But there are ways out of it. I actually really enjoy my quiet time. I suppose maybe it's because I'm a mom. I really cherish the time that I have alone, and I don't often listen to music when I work because I find that it takes my mind away. I like to listen to music when I'm on a break, or when I'm making lunch or something like that. But there are ways around it. I have my business is registered at one co-working offices here in Munich. you know. So I go
Right.
there every now and again, and I see the people, and I rent like I don't know how most of them work, but this one particular one, it has different rooms. So I book myself meeting rooms if I need to, you know, really sit down and focus. But then I know that I can go out and talk to people. You know, I work in coffee houses. I have a client. So, we're very close, and we're working on a very large project. So we switch between our houses. That's also great. So there are ways out of it. You know, there are ways out of it. It just depends. Again, I think you really need to understand, even though I know it's difficult to understand what it's going to be like beforehand, before you start, but at least you need to maybe speak to other people and trying to imagine what it would be like for you.
I love that. Hey, listen, I know you're doing a lot of things on your site, coaching and some programs and things like that. If someone wanted to connect with you, learn more about what you do, where would you want to send them?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just go to my website. It's katyabarry.com. That's KatyaBarry.com. You can find me on all social media. Just type in Katya Barry, absolutely every single one, and you find me there under my name. And yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that I'm organizing. I'll be running a summit during the first week of March, which is aimed specifically for expats and international entrepreneurs. So if anybody is interested, just go onto my site and you will find the link there. And yeah, and I'm looking forward to connecting as many international people and entrepreneurs as possible and just creating this really, really nice international connection.
I love that. Now, did you do this summit last year as well?
No, this is the first time I'm doing it. This is my very first summit. So I'm pretty excited about doing it, running it. And I have, as a part of the summit, I also have a private Facebook group for it. And we already have quite a lot of people. And I just love the buzz and the atmosphere and the different people from really like different places from, you know, this planet. Is amazing.
It is. And I think the greatest thing about it is learning the diversity and learning about new people and new cultures. And now, is Farnoosh Brock, is she going to speak on there? Yeah. I'm going to be interviewing her soon for the shows. I love her. She's great as well.
Yeah, I've got Panush and I've got Natalie Season, and I've got two other people you've interviewed is Amina Falchetto.
I love her.
And Maya Carles.
Ah, very nice. What a nice group. Well, listen, we'll link up your website. We'll link up the summit. And if you guys have not checked out Katya's website, you should. It's a wealth of information. And Katya, thank you again for taking the time to speak with us today. I'm glad Skype worked out for us today, and you know, to learn a little bit more about your story.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Shelia. I wish you all the best. I look forward to watching all of your follow-up episodes. And you guys, all the best and go global.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Successful Women Talk. Listen, a lot of people ask me, Sheila, how did you build a business from 0 customers in revenue to thousands of customers and multi-7 figures within a few short years? Here's the secret sauce. We had great products, excellent customer service, and we leveraged, this is key, we leveraged our systems and processes. If you want to learn more about this or how to reclaim your time, join me over at www.successfulwomentalk.com, and I'll show you how to get the life, business, and customers you want. Thanks so much.